You become DM because no one else would. I became DM to feed my god complex. We are not the same. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Bear Bar Tales. It is I, the one bear that 3 out of 5 doctors recommend not wearing as a hat. The Bear Bard. Today we're finishing this grand saga of Aladin the Paladin. If you missed it, there will be a link to last week's video with the first part in the saga. As a brief little recap, Aladin is played by one who has a terrible case of main character syndrome. A player who believed that the party should give him all of their money so he can buy plate gear because he needed it more than anyone else. And when they didn't have the same thoughts, he sold drugs cut with sawdust and tried to steal money from a downed party member. Oh yeah, and all of this was in the name of the law, since, you know, he was lawful good, like all drug dealers are. This character ended up dead by session's end. We also saw this player in an evil campaign play as an orc who refused to learn a language to communicate with anyone, and shoot a dog. So, you know, we got a winner here. Today we round out this saga of awful with the final 2 parts of this story. But first, if you like this kind of content and you want to hear more, make sure to like this video and give that sub button some love. Every sub I get gets me one step closer to getting a collab with Brennan Lee Mulligan where we read exclusively catgirl related horror stories. And with that, let's get to today's first story titled The Equally Short and Annoying Life of Raladin the Non-Paladin. After the tragic death of Aladin the Paladin, we continue our campaign. DM, have you rolled up a new character? Raladin, yes, here's the sheet. DM takes a brief look at it. Are you serious about the name? Sorcerer gets curious and takes a peek at the sheet. He informs us, out of game, that the new character is called Raladin. Raladin. I thought a rogue would be a good idea since nobody was able to disarm the traps in the last dungeon. DM? Alright then. The party returns to their wizard patron's tower in order to explain that they failed their quest because of a certain paladin dragging them into bad crime drama. They then realize that a failed magical experiment has turned the wizard into a talking squirrel. He needs the party to gather new ingredients for a ritual to transform him back into human form. He doesn't mind them failing their previous quest and is willing to pay them some more so they can hire a replacement for Aladin. So, the party heads out to the next tavern to recruit a new member, and we introduce ourselves to the new player character, Raladin. You see a mysterious hooded figure rise from a dark corner of the room and slowly approach you. I will join you on your quest, if you're willing to pay. Me. Since nobody else here seems to be interested and we have a wizard to rescue, I guess you're our only choice, stranger. I'm Dorinios of the Silver Forest. Who are you? Raladin? My name is irrelevant to you, but I'll help you with your wizard problem. I sigh and roll my eyes, but I want to get back to the adventure, so I grind my teeth. Oh, look out, we got a badass over here. I mean, you gotta love that kind of commitment. From a lawful stupid paladin to an edgelord rogue. Completely buying into the that guy stereotypes. He seems super trustworthy here though. I hope he doesn't try to sneakily kill everybody. Me. Alright, Irrelevant. It's a pleasure to meet you. Monk. Welcome to the party, Irrelevant. You seem to be very trustworthy. With their new trusted ally, the party leaves town and searches for a ruined labyrinth in a nearby forest. After some dungeon crawling and fighting, the party secures the ingredients they were looking for, monitor horns. Monk even finds a nice magical sai, which counts as a monk weapon. On their trip back to town, the party takes rest for the night at the banks of a river. Raladin. I'll take first watch. I throw a worried glance towards Monk and Sorcerer. Monk. That's fine, Irrelevant. I'll take second. DM. Night sets in as everyone but the rogue goes to sleep. Raladin. Once everyone's asleep, I sneak towards Monk. Raladin throws his dice. That's a 24 on stealth. I use coup de grace to kill him. Monk. I stick my sai right into his face. DM. Since you prepared the attack, Monk gets advantage. Raladin. What? I have a 24 on stealth and he's asleep. DM puts a piece of paper on the table. It's a note Monk passed him in secret. Monk was so stealthy about it, even Sorcerer and I had no clue that he did this. DM. Monk clearly states here that he prepares to attack anyone who sneaks up on him with his sai after he lies down. If you're waiting for exactly this situation, a 24 on stealth means nothing. Raladin suffers heavy damage from Monk's new magical sai. Raladin, I attack him back. The rest of the party awakens and soon realizes that they're in the middle of PvP combat. Me, what's up with this nonsense? Why are you attacking our friend, Irrelevant? Raladin, my name is Raladin, and I'm here to avenge my brother Aladin. Sorcerer, wait, wasn't Aladin given to his paladin order as a baby by his rhyming bard parents? Well, yes, and they gave me away to a thieves guild to balance out their karma. They were true neutral. Now, I tried to reconnect with Aladin and found out that he was betrayed and left to die by his own party. Me, I don't know who told you this, Raladin, but that's not quite how it happened. Lay down your arms and we can talk about this. I attack. The already heavily injured Raladin is quickly killed by a very satisfied monk. Raladin, you wouldn't have won without metagaming, you jerk. Monk, it wasn't metagaming. Why would my monk with a wisdom of 18 trust a creepy-looking stranger who wouldn't even give me his name? And this shortly after my monk nearly got killed and looted by the last weird psycho stranger he joined up with? It makes total sense for him to be very paranoid. Raladin, bullshit. The rest of the group agrees with Monk and Raladin's body gets thrown into the river to feed the fish. DM, Raladin, please roll up a new character. This time, just to make it clear, you're not allowed to create any more relatives, friends, hired assassins, or any other character with any connection whatsoever to Aladin or Raladin. Are we clear on this? So ends the equally short and knowing life of Raladin the Non-Paladin. But it's not the end of this campaign's ongoing horror story. Please let me know if you're interested in the last and final part of this RPG nightmare. Feel free to take a guess about what will happen in Act 4. A. Raladin accepts DM's ruling and creates a new character who doesn't try to harm or kill any other party members. B. Raladin continues his horrible quest to avenge Aladin and Raladin. C. Raladin somehow manages to do both at the same time. Thank you all for your nice comments on my last stories. P.S. For everyone who wonders why we continued to play with Raladin, I want to give you some details. We were a close-knit group of teenagers from the same neighborhood who hung out together all the time. We didn't feel like it was an option to kick out Raladin from our game if we didn't want to kick him out from our friend group altogether. And out of game, he was a fun person and a good friend. And I really want to also emphasize that I'm only sharing the really shitty things he did. 85% of the time, we had a fun game with him and he acted like a normal player. It was just when he was in his mood that things like these horror stories happened. Nowadays, as an adult, I wouldn't want to play with him or people like him anymore. But back then, things were different for us. So, a couple things here. One, I want to emphasize what he wrote at the end here. I think we have a tendency to demonize people as a whole when they play a that guy character in a game, especially on Reddit itself, where everyone wants to call everyone an abuser, a this, a that, and it's overreaction. And sometimes it is fair enough. With RPGs, we tend to put so much into them, and sometimes we put a lot of ourselves in there. So it's easy to think, hey, that's just who they are. But I've personally known people that I love that I can't stand playing with. And sometimes, just like the OP here said, they can just get in their moods. Especially when you take into consideration that this group were all teenagers at the time. Now, sometimes you got a problem player in a story that takes things too far with something like assault, and then yeah, probably a reflection on them as a person. But not every situation is like that. And so when OPs stick with playing with problem players, it doesn't automatically mean that there's some crazy abuse going on or that it's fake. It just means that there's more that we don't see. 2. On a much lighter note, can he have been any more obviously a bad guy? I mean, first off, you jump from pally stereotype to a rogue, so probably another stereotype. You ended the last session cursing them all, then this one you started off with, "You don't need my name." Okay, bad guy, you totally won't kill me. Then, thinking that people are just gonna go to sleep and let you watch over them? How dumb do you think they are? I will say I freaking loved how the monk handled business. Going with the good old stealth notes to the DM 2001 style. Hit him with that "surprise, motherfucker." What I love even more is the "you got me because of metagaming." Like, bro, you're clearly a bad dude on the first watch of the first day they met you. On top of that, you clearly metagamed like hell. How the hell do you think Raladin learned of his brother dying? Like, he was torn up by his enemies in a dungeon with no other witnesses. Why is it that these guys are the first ones to point the fingers? It's like the cheater accusing others of cheating. Are you just that unaware, or do you think it's distracting people from your own BS? The one thing I'll give this guy is that I kinda love the name Raladin, brother of Aladin the Paladin. It's so dumb, but I love it. But now we can get to the final story of the saga, titled Aladin the Paladin Takes His Revenge and Kills Our Campaign. This is the final part of the ongoing horror story about Aladin the Paladin and his extremely silly and annoying revenge plot. Unfortunately, it won't have a happy ending here, unless you're Aladin, and if you're reading this, you are a massive jerk in this game and you know it. After the tragic deaths of both Aladin the Paladin and his long-lost brother, Raladin the Rogue, our campaign continues. Raladin seems to have given up on his silly quest for vengeance, and rolls up a new character, who's pretty much a standard human fighter. No weird name and no particular weird behavior this time. It probably helps that he's allowed to start with plate armor since we're higher level now. The new fighter mostly just sticks to hacking and slashing and doesn't cause any issues. A couple of sessions go by and we're all having fun. The earlier horror stories are soon forgotten. We even plan to spend the whole weekend just playing D&D. Sorcerer, our old friend Cameo called earlier today and told me that he'll be coming back to town for a couple days. DM, that's awesome. We haven't seen him in over a year. Let's ask him if he wants to be guest star in our campaign. Everyone, let's do it. Some hours pass and our old friend Cameo shows up at the house. Cameo, I'm looking forward to playing D&D again, but I guess I'll need to roll up a new character for this. I don't really remember all the rules. Me, don't worry, we wanted to cook and eat something anyway. We've got plenty of time to roll up a new character for you. DM, the party could really use a dedicated healer at this point, so a cleric would be a really good option. But you can pick whatever you want, of course. Cameo, cleric sounds fine to me. Let's do it. Fighter, while you guys go cooking, I'll help Cameo fill out his character sheet. I'm sure Fighter here, formerly Aladin/Raladin, has no ulterior motives and nothing bad could possibly happen from this. I'm sure the rest of the story will end with them all completing the campaign with no issues and everyone leaves with the friendships they made along the way. Most of the party heads up to the kitchen. Cameo and Fighter stay in the basement to roll up a new cleric. Yes, we really did play in a basement like the true nerds we were. A while later, we're all stuffed and get back together in the basement to continue our campaign. DM, we ended our session in the middle of a vast underground fortress built by the dwarves in a forgotten age. Ever since its fall, it's been overrun by a species of insect-like lesser demons from the abyss. It might be a little tricky to introduce your character at this desolate place, Cameo. Maybe he has been taken prisoner by some of the demons who plan to use him as a sacrifice? Cameo, I rolled up a lawful good human cleric of Heronius. Fighter, maybe he was sent to the Forgotten Fortress by a vision from his god who thought that there was an important mission for him to achieve here. Cameo, yes, that fits perfect. DM, fine with me. Let's start this adventure. The game begins and our party of adventurers stumble into an armored stranger in the underground fortress. Since he's the cleric of a lawful good deity, he seems very trustworthy. So, we join forces and continue to clear the ruins of demonic infestation. DM clearly enjoys the fact that we're having an additional party member and a healer, so he really amps up the combat encounters. In an old dwarven workshop, the demons have awoken some ancient constructs who, of course, try to kill the intruders. It's a really tough fight. Monk, damn, these things really hit hard. I could use some healing over here. Fighter, don't worry, Monk. We have a cleric with us. Even if you go down, it's not a big deal. Cameo, I cast Cure Wounds on the fighter. He's closer to my position than the monk. DM, ouch, Monk. The other construct hits its rusty saw blade at you. It's a critical hit. DM rolls his dice and the already injured monk goes down. But luckily we managed to pulverize the remaining constructs in the following round of combat. Monk, can I please get some healing now? I'm like 2 rounds from dying. Cameo, I walk up to Monk and kneel over his unconscious body. Then I use coup de grace to kill him. Everyone, what? Cameo, I'm a cleric of Heronius, the arch-paladin. I was sent here by my god to avenge the death of one of his servants. He was betrayed and left to die by you evil cowards. Other than Fighter, of course, who was not a member of your party back then. He's fine, I don't have any trouble with him. Everyone facepalms. Fighter and Cameo start laughing their asses off maniacally. DM, that's it. We're ending this here. I am done with this shit. We spend the rest of the weekend playing Warhammer Fantasy Battle instead. Fighter/Raladin and Cameo/Cleric feel super smug like they've just pulled off the heist of the Mona Lisa. We try to shut them down by crushing their Empire army. We never continued this particular D&D campaign, but we started a new one instead. Any type of PvP was strictly banned from now on, and we played no more games worthy of this subreddit. Growing maturity probably helped out as well. It's a bittersweet ending, I guess, for this RPG horror story. Thank you for reading, and thank you for the nice comments on all my other stories. This subreddit is delightfully positive. Well, so much for my prediction of nothing bad happening. Boy, they sure did pull the rug out from under me. Honestly though, for not being a fun person to play with through these stories, you gotta respect his long game. I mean, this guy waited and bid his time waiting to lull the group into a false sense of security, then used the opportunity for revenge. I mean, I have trouble committing to something for more than a couple hours. This guy committed to months of a campaign to exact his revenge. That is some next level endgame. What I really want to know is, what the hell did he tell this new guy? Did he say, "These guys have been super mean to me, so let's get back at them"? Or was he more honest and just said, "Hey, you want to fight with these guys?" Like, dude comes back from who knows where, gets to hang out with his friends, and basically first thing he does is end their campaign? You know, I get it. Sometimes we make a character that in concept sounds good, but ends up just not quite being there. But the key is being able to see that it's not working and switch gears. I've made some characters that I thought were going to be awesome, then in practice, they were really either not fun or didn't mesh well with the party. But I was able to recognize that and either drop the character or just tried changing it up so that it either was more interesting / fun / worked better with the party dynamic. The key is remembering that characters are dynamic themselves. Just because they start one way or they have a defining trait doesn't mean they stay that way. So here we are at the end of the saga. Now, what have we learned? Always be aware of two rhyming brothers if the first felt slighted at his death. Never trust an orc who doesn't learn common. Don't sell cut drugs and pretend to be lawful good. Don't try and steal money from your party. Don't trust a player who says they are one alignment but acts completely different, regardless of how you feel about alignments. Don't trust your friend that comes back into town and wants to play D&D with you. Never let people named Rick borrow your car. And never, ever trust the bear bard to do accents. And now for bear facts. The Tibetan bear, or Tibetan blue bear, is a subspecies of the brown bear found in the eastern Tibetan plateau. It is known as the Himalayan blue bear, Himalayan snow bear, Tibetan brown bear, or the horse bear, probably the least known and least studied of all brown bear species. Evidence indicates that the Tibetan blue bear is very shy of human contact, and therefore very seldomly observed. On a personal note, I think these bears are fantastic, and it's sad that we know so little about them. And now for this week's submission to the Bear Bard Cave of Art and Wonders. This week we have a return submitter with Discord user SpectrumZ with this awesome Bear Bard token. If you're on the Discord, you'll recognize this as my new Discord picture. I love how smug this take on the Bear Bard is. He definitely knows he owns the place. Thank you SpectrumZ for that submission. If you have art you want to submit, you can do so either at the email in my About section or on Discord in the art channel. I absolutely love the art I've gotten so far, and I'm super excited to hopefully see more in the future. But with that, I think we're going to call it a day. This format of a saga of sorts was a lot of fun for me. I feel like you really get a chance to know the characters in the story. Let me know what you guys thought of it. This week, we also finished up our polls for my Dice Goblin character, and the winner was a Bugbear Bard. I know no one could have foreseen this, but I'm excited to get into this character. I've loved seeing your ideas for the character, and I'm starting to conceptualize him myself. If you have any ideas yourself, make sure to let me know in the comments. With that said, if you liked this video, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, you can connect with me on Discord, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also check out the Bear Bard Tales podcast if that's your sort of thing. I have more episodes planned and in the works that I think you're going to love, so make sure to stay tuned for those. For now though, this has been the Bear Bard. Stay kind, stay beautiful, and keep on living that bard life.